Hey guys, this is Dr. Aeronautics. Today we're going to be operating VRE Train 312 in the winter from the Spotsylvania station all the way up to Washington Union Station. I'm rather ill, so I'm going to try to avoid talking as much as I can. So this is kind of going to be a weird, strange hybrid video where I talk about as much as I don't talk. Which normally in my talking videos, I'm saying things all the time. So we've got a 6-car train comprised of Chicago Metra Nippon Sharyo gallery cars, which is a pretty good approximation of the VRE equipment. Some repainting is in order. Now the good news is they're actually silver, which means repainting them would be a easy order of business. We're sitting at the Spotsylvania station right now awaiting a 7:05 a.m. departure. And then at the rear of our train is a MP36H-3C in the Caltrain livery because, again, don't have a VRE equivalent. But this is the same locomotive, just has a little bit different paint scheme to it. I'm also going to try to run this one semi-blind, so I'll have the heads-up display hidden for a good portion of the time. Given that it's a 7:05 a.m. departure, I'm going to start getting the train ready to go. And let's see if we can get a cab light on here so we can actually see what's going on. For those of you who don't know, I have a liquid crystal display, which means when it's dark out, like it's really dark. There we go. People are probably laughing about me fumbling in the dark, but no, I like literally can't see anything. Oh man, are there gauge lights here? Because that doesn't light up the gauges. That's what I really want. I only want to light up the gauges. Okay, that's headlights. Cab signals, ditch lights. Okay. Oh well, if I can't figure out how to do it, the sun will be rising pretty soon. Alright, I give up. We gotta start getting ready for departure. So I've also set it to. I've set the train to basically. I need to assess what I'm going to say. I've set us up in a quick drive to try and get us to Union Station. I am hoping. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. I am hoping that we're going to be able to get there without running into issues relating to not being on the correct track. That's because I chose a quick drive, so who knows what's going to actually happen. I have to say, I really love these gauges. It's also interesting that the gauges are no longer Westinghouse. They now all say Wabtec, which acquired Westinghouse. So nice to see that they're still kind of continuing on with that. And I really like the speedometer. You know, it makes use of all the real estate, using maybe 330 degrees of the entire 360 degrees, and you got tick marks every mile per hour with hashes every 5 and numbers every 10. As per speedometers go, that is the best I've seen. Oh yeah, we should probably also get the headlights on. Okay, so next station is Fredericksburg at 7:16. That'll actually be the third largest city on the entire route. Smaller than Alexandria, Well, actually, technically 4th, because we're going through Arlington a little bit. And Alexandria and Washington, D.C. Alright, let me make sure that we've got all the... I think that's a headlight display there. Yeah, the headlights are on. I really like how the ditch lights will flash. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's make that go away. And I can't remember, this is still a route that's in the works. It's not complete. I'm hoping that they have mileposts, because without mileposts, it's going to be really hard to blind run this. Especially for speeds, which we get 70 miles per hour speed limit right now. And I have to say, for Notch 1, this is really good pickup. Oh man, where's the headlights? There we go. Fiddling around in the dark, trying to figure out what certain things do. And as you might expect, because we're going inbound, we're going to be starting off in, I wouldn't say rural, because Fredericksburg's a pretty large town. But once you get out of Fredericksburg, it gets kind of ex-urban, rural. So right out of the gate, pretty much, speed limit is 70 miles per hour. One of the ways that I like to assess the population density per a given area is by using a light pollution map. That gives you a good approximation of the area. So let's see, when we just started out, we were in a Bortle Class 5 area, which is a suburban sky. Okay, so I might not be able to see mileposts, but I can see interlockings, which I can translate to mileposts. So Hamilton is at 55.7, and I'm concerned about 58.6, where the speed limit drops. Oh boy, I could not hear that at all. Alright, and that looks like an approaching diverging approach. Or approach diverging approach, something like that. I'm a little bit out of it right now because of being ill and everything. Hopefully I will be able to collect myself before I make a mistake. Alright, so that signal was yellow over yellow, which is advanced approach, proceed, prepare to stop at the second signal. So we're okay to continue accelerating. But I need to keep track of where I am. We're at Poplar coming up to it, so that's the speed limit going down to 40. And now that I'm technically cheating with the heads-up display open, you can see there our mileage from Union Station. That counts down, which is actually opposite the direction that the mileposts go, because they're labeled up from Richmond. I would like to know what's up with that alerter and why I can't hear it. There should be an audible tone that tells me it's going off. Pulling into Fredericksburg now. And so now the resume speed signs are the CSX style. When we resume the speed, we're going to be limited to 70 miles per hour. That's the maximum trains can do on the RF&P sub. And we're pretty much right on time. Departure is 7:16. Okay, this is the Rappahannock River. The Rappahannock is the fourth largest river that flows into the Chesapeake Bay after the Susquehanna, the Potomac, the James, and yeah, that's it, number 4. Okay, so next we are due at Leland Road at 7:23. We get some nice scenic curves through here. It's relatively rural. Most of Stafford County is like this, but there are localized high amounts of people. Alright, I'm hoping that alerter comes up again so I can listen for it. And I guess that's going to be a no, because I have to start manipulating the controls again. It's unfortunate. One of the things that VRE doesn't share with Mark is that on the Mark Penn line, you have a speed limit that's so high that most of the trains, unless they skip stations, can't actually reach the speed limit, because by the time they get close to the speed limit, they're already slowing down for the next station. VRE doesn't have any high-speed trackage rights. Okay, now stopped at Leland Road. We're about a minute early. And then next station will be Brook. Wow, this passenger cabin is very dark. We're going to talk a little bit about that when the sun rises. All right. That is a mistake. Coming up on the screen now, that is a very different spelling of Potomac Run. It's Potomac, as in Potomac, but pronounced Potomac. It pains me to see something like that. And then 3 miles after Potomac Run, there'll be a speed restriction coming up. Time due at Brook is 7:29. hope I can figure out this alerter thing because it's driving me nuts. Okay, so that's how you reset it. Question is, where do you view it? There it is. Okay, so it's apparently, wow, completely silent, but it's a bright red flashing light in the cab. Okay, so there are whistle signs. I didn't see them up until now. Okay, we are bang on time right now. This is the departure time for Brooke, and the doors will be closing soon enough. Alright, so there's a little bit of a gap between Brooke and the next station, Quantico. We're due at Quantico at 7:41. And I was hoping by now the sun would be starting to rise, because this time of year it is winter, but it's usually light by 7:30. In fact, the latest sunset in this region, I believe, is about 7:45. And given how dark the sky is, it sure looks like we're greater than 15 minutes from sunset. Okay, going back to full speed passenger-wise. Just about when it's time to start slowing down for the Quantico station, we'll be going into a 55 zone. But we're okay where we are now. Okay, so I think I've just about figured it out. If I can just watch this mirror here If it starts blinking red, then I know the alerter's coming on. That speedometer is dead on accurate too, so I actually don't really need the rail driver speed. This is Aquia Creek. Ooh, I can actually start to see the sky color changing a little bit. I don't know how that keeps escaping from me. Okay, so if this is Arkandale, then there are going to be 2 more interlockings. There's Widewater and then Brownfield. And then that's where we're going to start slowing down. Actually, no. We're going to go a little bit further. I forgot this train has really good brakes. I don't think there's actually any way to cause the dynamics to come in from the cab car, which is actually kind of interesting. That's not what I wanted. So a sign of interest here. And I guess it's long gone. Yeah, seriously, some mileposts or destination signs would really help. Just nothing for a while. I should be able to use Chopawamsett Creek, which is just south of the Quantico station, as a landmark without needing to go back to the heads-up display. That way I can gauge where I am. Okay, here's Chopawamsett Creek. Ooh, milepost. $78. Yeah, I'm going to start looking for mileposts again because just using something that doesn't have anything to do with the trackage doesn't seem to be working out. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Good, we're loading up. And so let's see, departure time is 7:41, and it's 7:41. Perfect. Also, the surrounding lights are actually lighting up the cab, and I can see it now. Wow, there's my controls. Cab light is far too dim. I've seen cabs that the cab light just makes it look like it's daytime, and at others I've seen this where it outlines the silhouettes of the control surfaces, or the controls rather, but it doesn't allow you to actually see them. Okay, next station is going to be Ripon at 7:50. Okay, now this bridge over Quantico Creek is actually brand new. This used to be a single track section, and with the construction of this new bridge over here, they've essentially made it a two-spanner, and now it's two-track. Okay, now you can finally start to see the morning light out there. That's the Potomac River that you're looking into right now. Which is very tidal at this point. It's actually 2 miles wide at this point. And it will shrink to about 1,000 feet. Oh, there goes the alerter when we cross it. That did not dismiss the alerter. That still didn't dismiss the alerter. Probably because we're speeding. And I'm just getting too distracted here. Okay, so we're in the 55 zone until we pass Possum Point, which we've done now because we're at the Possum Point yard, so we should be gone back up to 70 now. So these power lines all converging here are going to the Possum Point generating station, which is what all this trackage is for here, the yard for the power plant. And now we're pretty much 70 all the way up to Franconia. And now I can take this as an opportunity to say in the short future, there is a planned community being built here called Potomac Shores, and there will be a new VRE station here called Potomac Shores. And that's going to be located virtually right here. Potomac Shores neighborhood will actually be off to the left here, and the station will be right about where we are now, which is going to be kind of interesting because this route is still under construction. So the station and the simulated route are both under construction at the same time, and it's going to be interesting to see, you know, meta construction. The station's not done, but neither is the simulated route. So the two are going to evolve basically at the same time. Next bridge should be Powell's Creek. And then Ripon is 2 miles after that. It's nice being able to look out over the Potomac River and see the sun coming up. Neebsco Creek should be about 7/10 of a mile before Ripon, so that's a good identifier for when to slow down. 0.7 miles, and I need about 0.5. So we'll just go notch off when we cross Neebsco Creek. That's happening because we're over speed. So I was just going to, and of course it's, you know, when I get distracted again. It's just going to say that we're now at a triangular juncture between Occoquan River and the Potomac River called Occoquan Bay, and that is 4 miles. At this point, we're now splitting off from the Potomac River, and we're going to go up the Occoquan a little bit before cutting over again. And we're coming into Ripon right now, which is I believe it has platforms on 2 sides. Or am I thinking of Woodbridge? I might be thinking of Woodbridge. Much better. Okay, departure is 7:50. We're just a little bit early. Starting to get pretty close to sunrise now. You can see out into Occoquan Bay. You know, I really find it interesting how diverse the name Bay is. For example, Occoquan Bay is a subset of the Potomac River. But the Potomac River itself flows into the Chesapeake Bay, which then connects directly to the ocean. So I think it's weird that you can use a spot in a river, within a river, to describe a bay, or as a description of a bay. But you can also use the inlet of an ocean as a bay as well. It's very strange. Okay, next station is Woodbridge itself, and that's at 7:57. Woodbridge is at milepost 89, just before the Occoquan River, and 2 miles after Featherstone interlocking. And lovely Northern Virginia, quiet zone. If you ask me, I say that quiet zones are not very smart. I guess it's one of those live in noise versus die in silence questions. Do you live with noise or die with silence? Are we in a 55? No, we're not. It's just going to... just doing its thing. Well, I'm glad to know that if you don't catch it when it starts blinking red, it at least does become audible before it'll put the emergency brakes on. That I'm pretty happy about. And it's going to get harder to see that during the day. Hardly any indicators for when you're coming into Woodbridge, unfortunately. But there should be a little creek coming off of the Occoquan Bay just before the station. Yeah, and as you can see, Woodbridge covers both sides of the tracks. It's one of the few VRE stations to do so. Okay, scheduled departure is 7:57. We're 2 minutes early. So we can take this as an opportunity to look for a sunrise. So we're just about centering on right about there. Which, if these houses are all oriented the same, which they are. And by the way, this isn't how most of Northern Virginia is. Northern Virginia is a nightmare for traffic because all its streets end in cul-de-sacs. It's very frustrating that the traffic sucks all the time, and it's not because there's lots of people, it's because all the neighborhood streets end. There's basically no through routes. You have to get on the main road. And they've actually, from what I understand, they've made it an ordinance that you're not allowed to do that anymore. Because the traffic, it's strangled the traffic so much. Because if there's like a deadly accident and they close down the main road, guess what? There's no detouring through the neighborhood because everything's a cul-de-sac. Okay, next up is going to be Lorton, and we will have the auto train station, as a landmark to start slowing down for it. And I'm actually kind of irritated that they didn't put the Lorton auto train station with the VRE station, so you can't use it to transfer, but I think there was a good reason why they did that. Like, it may have had something to do with the amount of people that would be able to walk to the station, or simply not having enough room because of that, or the fact that I think I'm remembering right now, which is VRE uses low, what's the word I'm looking for? Low-level platforms, whereas the auto train uses the high-level platforms, and I believe that was the reason. Lorton is scheduled at 8:04. We have a nice sunrise shaping up. beautiful and clear. Kind of reminds me of the trip that I did to on the scenic subdivision, except it was exactly the opposite. The topography was completely different. This part of Northern Virginia is actually above the fall line. Well, technically it's skirting it, but it's more above than below. Basically, if you go east from here, you'll get medium to low relief of 200 feet, and if you go west, you'll get medium to high relief of 200 to 500 feet. That's basically the difference. It's not night and day. It's kind of like big and small, but it's still comparable. Alright, so we're full speed without exception, basically, all the way up to Franconia. Now, this bridge here is the Occoquan River itself. And that is looking out into Occoquan Bay. You can't see the Potomac River from here because there's Belmont Bay, which is a little bit of a turn. So there you go. There's a bay within a bay now, further complicating everything. And now I can really start to see stuff. I can see my controls now in the cab. And I can see the track in the world. This is really nice. Okay, this sharp turn in Lorton. Oh man, there's no way to switch over to the other cab. Alright, well, let's try it with the head-out view. There we go. This sharp turn means we're coming up to the Lorton Auto Train terminal. I have to be careful about using head-out view, though, because I'm not going to see the alerter. Or hear it. They need to fix the illumination. This is supposed to be the moon, but it's colored like the sun. The moon has a blue glow, not a yellow glow. Okay, no dangerous red light yet. And just move the control here. I guess one way I could avoid it from coming on would be by just randomly hitting my horn every once in a while. But that's not realistic. But then again, yeah, there is sticking my head out the window. Well, that's not necessarily true. I could do that. What are those green lights? Ah, is that... Yes, that's I-95. Fantastic. Very good scenery. You can see it all the way from here. That's exactly where it is in real life. In fact, it's like, oh boy. Press the button. Oh, I'm over speed. Again. Well, I can't believe I heard that from inside. Anyway, this is it right here. Sorry about that. That's the auto train terminal. And I'm going to get my head inside before I screw up again. Like now. I'm going to go to suppression here. One of these days I'm going to finally learn to stop using this as a tour ride. Okay, schedule says early, and I know why. We stopped so dang quickly. We stopped literally as quickly as we could have. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love... Oh my gosh. When did that happen? I love these environmental files. Whoever designed them or wherever they came from, holy cow. Take a picture of that. That's amazing. Fantastic. The best environmental files I've ever seen. Still not sunup though. I can't wait. This line is supposed to eventually go all the way down to Newport News, and we can watch the sunrise from Hampton Roads. That's going to be awesome, but it's not there yet. 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Okay, next station is Franconia. Oh, it looks like they changed the name of the station since last time. They changed it from just Franconia to Franconia Springfield. You used to be able to tell the difference between the WMATA station and the VRE station because the VRE station was Franconia and the Metro station was Franconia Springfield. But now they apparently have mixed them together, so now you have to be specific about which one you use. Alright, how we doing, Californian MP36? Well, no rear headlights. Very dark train we got. I'm actually surprised that there is no infill station between Lorton and Franconia, because it's a full 7 miles. And let's play a game called Count the Lanes on I-95. Okay, I-95 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 lanes. So, let's see, 4 northbound, 4 southbound, and 4 express lanes, which can alternate. So you can get 8 with each rush hour. Obviously turn towards Washington, D.C. Okay, are we sun up yet? I still don't see any sunlight. Alright, we're getting really far from the Potomac, so I need to start paying attention. I can't simply use little creeks to indicate where I am. If I'm correct, we're in Newington right now. And don't let the forest fool you. Although I just told you I-95 is 12 lanes here. In fact, yes, should be able to see I-95 through the woods. And I can't, which means that we're getting close to Franconia. Those office buildings are right before Franconia. Ah, that's what I was looking for. Let's see here. Head out. Okay, this is the very beginning of the Washington Metro Rail, or WMATA, Washington Metropolitan Area Transportation Authority, Blue Line, and this is the basically starts at a tail track, and it immediately, there's no yard, it immediately runs into the first station, which is kind of like in a concrete box. It was a thing in the 70s, which is the Franconia Springfield Metro Station, and this is served by the Blue Line. Alright, let's get these guys to load here. Good. And yeah, this is it. You can see perfect. Here's the third rail. And I'll show you real quick. It basically ends in a three-track tail track system here. That's the end of the line. And they do these diamond crossovers basically all throughout, even underground. And that continues up towards the next station, Van Dorn Street, which we're actually going to parallel going up. Okay, 8:12, so we're still about a minute and a half early. So just off to our left is I-95. It gets almost unimaginably wide as it approaches the Capitol Beltway. If I go into Google Maps, the roadway is, let's see, looks like about 300 feet wide. I'm not even going to tell you how many lanes it has, but amazingly enough, it backs up all the time, and it drives me crazy. Looks like it's not... Yeah, it's not. It's a little bit too far away to be simulated, unfortunately. But this road that you're seeing coming across is Route 289, the Franconia Springfield Parkway. All right, let's see if it's time to go yet. A little bit longer. What else can I talk about? So we're going to follow the Blue Line very soon when we get a little bit closer to Van Dorn Street. You'll see the more tracks come in, and that's where we pick up the VRE Manassas line. Now it's time to go. Okay, next up is Alexandria. I said, what did I say? Fredericksburg was the fourth. Alexandria is the third largest city on our trip. I think it's got like 120,000 people in it now. I have to start watching my speeds here. So we're good at 70, basically all the way up to the Alexandria station. And I don't even have to look at a map to know where Alexandria is, because you see the Metro Rail yellow line, and there's a sharp left turn just before the Alexandria station. Ooh, do we got sun yet? We have sun. No sun, really? Dang. Still no sunrise. I have to say, very nice office building design. It looks very realistic. Okay, so like I said, this is the blue line here. It goes all the way up to Alexandria, and then it goes a little bit underground to Braddock Road. And then once it gets through Alexandria, it comes up above ground again, and then goes back underground in Arlington after stopping at Reagan National Airport. And then from there it goes deep underground, Pentagon City, the underground shopping center, Pentagon, and then it goes 120 feet underground by the time you get to Rosslyn, and then it goes under the Potomac River in a tunnel into Northwest, and it goes pretty close to the White House, through Metro Center, across the mall to the Southwest DC, past the Capitol near Capitol South, and continuing on to Stadium Armory, and then it comes above ground again near Anacostia, a little bit north of Anacostia, and then just continues on through Addison Road all the way out to basically Largo. And I did all that without a map, if you can believe that or not. All right, this should be I-495, the Capital Beltway. Six lanes each direction. Yeah, it doesn't look exactly like this in terms of how the lanes are broken out, but when you count the express lanes, yeah, that's correct. Very nice. All right, so get the head out again. So on our left, again, that's the blue line, and it's going to be coming up to its Van Dorn Street station. You can't see it now because the village of Lunt is kind of in the way, but through here is the Manassas line, which we're going to hook up. It's running on the Washington District right now. See, actually, Washington District's Norfolk Southern. It's right there. You can start to see it now. We're going to join up with it pretty soon. Okay, good. No emergency brakes yet, or what you call it. Ooh, I think we have sunlight. Yes, I see sunlight. The sun just rose. This is the Van Dorn Street Metro Rail station, and it is going up on its bridge. And that will allow our tracks to come together with the Washington District. And the VRE Manassas line. Oh, that looks really close for clearance. Okay, we've got a few feet of clearance. Looks close though. So the blue line is going to hook up with the yellow line, which comes out of Huntington. And the two will become one. And next station after that is King Street. There is a WMATA yard. The Van Dorn Street yard is out that way. And now we just crossed over the Washington District. You can tell that we've got two different railroad companies when you can see the line for quite a few miles and they just don't join. We have to get into the Alexandria terminal trackage before the two come together. It's the Van Dorn Street Metro Yard is back there, like I said. And now the two have finally become one. We're now unified with the VRE Manassas line in Washington District to the CSX RF&P line. We're continuing to use the RF&P. Wow, direct sunlight. Continuing to use the RF&P mileposts as we come into Alexandria now. And this is where the speed limit drops off now. I believe we're going down to 40. Yes. And now downtown Alexandria is starting to come into view. This isn't what they call Old Town. Old Town is close to waterfront. And interestingly enough, we're moving over to the left for Alexandria. The combined blue and yellow Metro Rail lines are now visible to the right. That is King Street Station up there on the flyover. (8:21) schedule says we're a couple minutes early. Since we're early, this is the George Washington Masonic Memorial. You can see this a long way off. So basically, we're looking at Old Town now, Alexandria, and just beyond where the building line drops, that's the Potomac River. You can see across to, it was Maryland. This is actually the, I didn't mention that, but Potomac River divides Maryland and Virginia. But DC cuts in right here. So if I look over here, that's going to be Maryland. But then if I look up here, that's going to be Washington, D.C. Potomac is about a mile wide, and it's going to continue narrowing the closer we get to our crossing with the Potomac on the Long Bridge. All right, let's see how we're doing now. Okay, we still need 1 more minute. Okay, let's see what else I can talk about. Oh, you know what? I think when I said I see the sun, I didn't yeah, that's the sun. There it is. I would have noticed it. Okay, so I was wrong about when sunrise is, but now you can clearly see it is sunrise. So, I also said that we went under I-495, the Capital Beltway, but what I also failed to mention is I-95 also links up with the Capital Beltway. If you can continue straight on I-95, the roadway becomes I-395, and you can continue all the way in on the 14th Street Bridge into D.C. I guess it doesn't matter because you don't really drive trains up here, and yeah, you can't even see the third rail up here. Nice tunnels, though. This is where the... It is. There's a short tunnel between here and where the yellow and blue lines meet up. All right, we at 24 yet? Yes, we. Oh, yeah. Overshot it that time. Wow, with the sun, I can see my entire cab now. That's so cool. All these like little details and everything. I can see everything in here now. I guess that means we definitely don't need our cab light again, or anymore. There it is. And yeah, we don't need the gauge lights either. Cool. Alright, and I saw the sign for 65. I totally forgot that CSX is one of the railroads that signs its speed limits. I don't think Norfolk Southern signs their speed limits. Okay, next stop is Crystal City at 8:33. And we're going to start going a little bit slower, although we've got a 65 mile an hour speed limit here. And suddenly it's very bright. That is the Braddock Road Station. And so now the tracks are going to dive down underground very shortly. Ah, there it is right there. Perfect. There's a short tunnel, and that continues out to National Airport. Wow, I'm on a roll right now as I speak. And years ago, the Washington and Old Dominion Railroad used to run through here, and this is about where we would be going underneath of it. But it unfortunately only exists in trail form, which I say does not count, and we can't see it. And we should be going over 4 Mile Run in a minute, which is not 4 miles long. The Washington and Old Dominion used 4 Mile Run to get up to, I think it used it as far as Deanwood. Deanwood's on the Dunn-Loring. That's what I'm thinking of. Deanwood is on the east side of Washington, D.C. All right, so we're down to 60. And there's a 45 coming up pretty soon. About another mile or so, but we're getting pretty close to Crystal City. The George Washington Parkway is just over there. This is 4 Mile Run here. And we're now coming into Crystal City. Reagan National Airport is here. Runway 4 and 22 basically come out to here. And there's a landing for you. And that's correct direction too. The Metro Rail is above ground again, and it goes up on a flyover. That's the airport terminal right there. You can actually see it. Really nice. And just around this corner, we should see the Crystal City Station. After stopping at the terminal, the Washington Metro Rail combined blue and yellow lines then dives underground for the last time for blue. It is, once you go past National Airport, it is under. All the way until you get to RFK Stadium on the east side of DC. Which I can't even remember, did they finally demolish it? I don't know. It was falling apart not too long ago. Which it was falling apart not too long ago, so you can pretty much guess. Either it's fallen apart or it's been demolished. Here's Crystal City. This is pretty interesting that it's on the left side only. Because remember I said Alexandria was the third largest city? Well, we're in Arlington. This is the second largest city. I think Arlington has like 200,000 people in it now or something. And next station is L'Enfant Plaza, which is, actually it's not L'Enfant Plaza. This is another one of those situations where you can, I saw that plane zone out for a minute there. If you're watching this, go back about 10 seconds, you'll see a plane just hanging in the sky there. It's another one of those situations where you can tell the difference between whether it's a Metro Rail station or a VRE station by its name. The name of the VRE station is L'Enfant. The name of the, let's see if it zones out again. The name of the VRE station, or the name of the Metro Rail station is L'Enfant Plaza. And we're down in a 40 zone. This is Roach's Run here, and oh man, that's beautiful. Next is the Potomac River Bridge. Dang, the long bridge. Tried to nail that without any foliage. And actually, that's the long bridge right there. Got a yellow over green. That is approach medium, so approach next signal not exceeding medium speed, which I think is 30 miles per hour. Maybe it's 40. Now, blue and yellow line Metro Rail splits, and the yellow has now come out of the ground. It is to the left, along with I-395, the 14th Street Bridge, as well as the, I think it's like the Arlen Bridge that carries Route 1 or something like that. And once 4 miles wide, here is the Potomac River. We're now crossing from Virginia. Actually, we have crossed from Virginia into D.C. The low tide mark, or is it the high tide mark? One of the tide marks on the west bank is the dividing line. The entire Potomac River is within Washington, D.C. So we're already in Washington, D.C. Oh, geez, that's not realistic. It's okay. The route's under construction. It is not finished, so I can't complain about that. Just crossed I-395. The yellow line is now going to dive underground, and that's the last we'll see. No, it's not. We'll see the red line when we enter Union Station. That's good. We got three out of 6. That's pretty good. It's really weird. The speed limit goes back and forth between 30 and 40 miles an hour. Oh, get that cab light before it gets dark. Here we go. We're actually going underneath Maryland Avenue right now. And L'Enfant is right after the sharp turn. And this is downtown Southwest, waterfront as they call it. And I remember this from last time. That building that looks like the Masonic Memorial, that's designed to look like the U.S. Capitol building. It's not, but it's designed to kind of behave that way. Okay, now, you might be asking yourself, why are there catenary posts? There's no catenary. Well, a long time ago, this section used to be part of the electrified Pennsylvania Railroad. The first hints, if you will, that we are getting very close to the Northeast Corridor, which is just on the other side of the tunnel. Okay, departure time is 41. So we're quite a bit early. Okay, well, we're also in Southwest DC, so that gives us an ability to look at a lot of things. So from here, the speed limit will go back up to 40 and then down to 25 when we enter the First Street Tunnel. Okay, so just up from here, the tracks divide. The left goes into Alexandria. The left goes into the First Street Tunnel towards the Northeast Corridor. The right side goes to the Alexandria Extension, which continues all the way up to the Anacostia River, and then you cross on the, I used to know the name of this bridge, but I'm going to have to look it up because I can't remember. It's saying Anacostia Bridge, but it has a name. It's really irking me that I can't remember what its name is. We got 5 full minutes, which means I can look this up. And basically what that does is that connects up with the Northeast Corridor as a bypass at Landover interlocking, just before New Carrollton Station. Those of you who watch those videos will know exactly where I'm talking about. Let's see here. Hopefully this is organized alphabetically, so I can find the Alexandria extension here. And it does not look like it's organized alphabetic. Or is it? Oh yeah, Baltimore. What am I looking for? Alexandria extension. So that's going to be one up from Baltimore. No, it's not. Where the heck is it? You know what? Maybe it's under. It might be under the Capital subdivision. I think they've been trying to get that extended. It's still separate, but the data for the Alexandria extension might be separated here. No? Oh yeah, here it is. It's just, okay, it's like an appendix, basically. It's separated. Okay, Chesapeake Junction, Benning, Anacostia. Just says Anacostia River. Huh. Okay. Maybe I was thinking it was called Benning Bridge or something like that, because it's right next to Benning Yard. Anyway. Let's keep an eye on the time. 41, so we got a minute and a half. It's amazing how much time looking that stuff up eats. Okay, so this is supposed to be the U.S. Capitol building. Looks a little bit off because the dome isn't quite right, but good for one that's not finished. I'm not sure why they put these two towers in. These don't exist in real life. They violate the rule. Do you think they violate the rule of a building can't be taller than the right-of-way of the street that it borders? I don't think so. That's the rule in D.C. A lot of people think this is supposed to be the Washington Monument. A lot of people think that the rule is no building can be taller than the Washington Monument, but the rule is actually for a combination of fire safety, defense, and lookability. A building cannot be taller than the right-of-way of the street that it borders, and that's designed to prohibit it from looking like a city. So you don't get like alleys and stuff. Let's see if we can find a good example of that. Oh, it's the DC rule. I can't find here like this. They're basically trying to avoid buildings from the city from looking like this. Is what they're trying to do. That's why that exists. Okay, 41 departure time, speed limit 30 miles per hour, and we have yellow over yellow, which is advanced approach, proceed prepared to stop at the second signal. Okay. We're passing over the blue line, the orange line, and the silver lines. They're the deep level, or the deep level segment through L'Enfant Plaza Station. They're about 102 feet underground right here. And if you had to ask why it's so deep and not cut and cover, it's because Washington, D.C. used to be a swamp, and that really never went away. So in order to get the tunnels from filling with water, you have to bore and line with concrete. We basically have no cut and cover tunnels in DC. Okay, so this is now where we split off with the Alexandria extension. You should start to notice bit by bit elements of the Northeast Corridor beginning to manifest themselves. This is I-395 here. If I do head out real quick, that goes underneath the mall in a tunnel. And then we're coming up to South Capitol Street, which is just south of the Capitol. I am exceeding the speed limit. Okay, press the alerter button, and we're good. Okay, there's the Capitol building right there, crossing South Capitol Street. In real life, we're in a gully and you can't see things. Oh, look. Northeast corridor position light signals reminiscent from the PRR. And get that cab light on, and we're in the First Street Tunnel. We've just entered the basement of Washington Union Station. We're now under First Street Southeast, and very soon it'll be First Street Northeast. Pay attention to the ceiling, if you will. We have just picked up the Northeast Corridor catenary. Now, of course, we have a diesel train, which means that, you know, we're never going to use it. But at this point, AEM7s at one time, HHP8s, ACS64s, even the, well, I guess the Acela Express might not fit through the tunnel. But basically, all the electrified Northeast Corridor trains can now cohabit the rails. I am lowering my speed for Union Station. And now we're really in the basement. One of these days soon we'll do a Northeast Regional video. When the track right now doesn't exist quite as far as Richmond, but once it does, we'll do a Northeast Corridor, Northeast Regional video from Richmond through Washington, D.C., and you can see the engine change out. And here we are. I believe we're on track 23. I'm going to bring that up so it's a little bit easier. So yeah, Union Station, generally southbound diesel trains, southbound electric trains, that need to be switched out, usually going over Acela, and then diesel trains going northwest like Capital Limited, as well as Mark, Penn, Camden, and Brunswick lines. Ooh, that needs to be fixed. Imagine if that happened in real life. You just hear the train rubbing up against the platform overhang. Wow, I'm not going to have to use any brakes for this. Isn't this amazing? Oh, we're going up at a 0.6% grade. That explains it. Because we're essentially climbing out of a tunnel. And that's it. This is it. So I'm going to go ahead and lay up the train here. This has been Dr. Aeronautics. And thank you guys for joining me for this VRE trip. into Washington, D.C. As it says here, we've reached the end of the quick drive scenario, and a very nice morning is shaping up for D.C. Congratulations, we have got the commuters into Washington, D.C. I know it sounds a little bit, ridiculous and over thing, but there are at least some people from this train that would work in the U.S. Capitol building, because we are only 5 blocks from the Capitol. So this is a major way that most people get in and out of D.C. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.